I got three stories here, a couple short ones that combine. Yesterday, there was a boy comes to the library, and last New Year's Eve, he was at the skating rink, him and his family, and I've got to know him through the skating rink and the library here. Well, anyway, me and him was, after the library closed yesterday, me and him was going down the road, and he made a left. He's on the bike too, and I went to Kroger. Anyway, we started talking as we was going down a hill. He's 13, 6th grade, I believe. Anyway, we was talking, and he slipped something out. I says, you're only in the 6th grade? He said, well, he's held back a couple years. I said, I'm gonna tell you something. Don't let these dumb teachers tell you any different. It's not what's in the books, it's what's already up here. Okay, now, my grandpa, Redden, my dad's dad. I think he either had a third, I never could get this straight, either a 3rd or 6th grade education. Don't let that fool you. My grandpa was a genius. One time, I was probably, me and my cousin Cliff, I was about 11, it was about 1974. My dad was driving, and my Uncle Clifton. My dad and Uncle Clifton is brothers. My dad's name's Woody. Anyway, Dad was driving, and me and my cousin was in the back seat, and we was going to Walton. We was going to Verona, Kentucky, to visit Grandpa and Grandma. You know, Gallatin County, and we're on 71. You know, it runs east and west. Interstate 71. We was driving. As Dad, we was going, you know, driving along, and my cousin Cliff, you know how kids are, looks at me and says, "Hey, Greg. When we get over there, when we get over to Grandpa's, say, hello, Bo Dig." The next thing we know, Dad's hitting the emergency signal. And he's pulling over into the emergency lane on 71, Interstate 71. Stops the car, keeps his emergency flashers on, and we're in emergency lane probably about 20 minutes. Reason? Clifton, we're going to have to tell him. Dad's talking, you know, to his brother, my uncle. And Cliff said, I agree. He says, you know how kids are. You tell them no, and they'll still do it. We're going to have to tell them the story. They both looked back at us. Here's what they say, and I'll never forget. If I live to be 200, I'll never forget this. 1974. I'm 11. My cousin's about that same age. I'm just a little older. Anyway, Dad and my Uncle Clifton looks at both of us and says, first of all, we want to make something clear. Your grandpa loves you grandkids very much. You grandkids are his whole world to him. But one time somebody, I guess because my grandpa didn't have much book smart, I guess I should say, didn't have much schooling, somebody once called him, and I quote, Bo Dig. He got the guy on the ground, stuck a knife to his throat, and was going to kill him. As he had the knife through his throat, my grandpa started crying. Really crying. And the reason why he was crying, he knew if he'd kill this guy, he had a temper. He'd probably either get death or he'd get life, you know, without parole. And he hated anybody. If you hinted, if you even hinted to my grandpa he was a dumbass, he'd knock your head off. He had a bad temper, and that's why they preached to us for 20 minutes. I know he's in emergency lane for 20 minutes, every bit. Please don't go over there and call him that, because you know he nearly killed the guy. Now he wouldn't stick a knife to you grandkids, no, but such a temper, he may not mean to hurt you and hurt you, maybe slap you, not mean to. But my grandpa, if you had you could have a PhD, if you didn't have no common sense, he didn't want nothing to do with you. That's the way he was. My grandpa was probably smarter than Albert Einstein. He may not have the math down, but he was a genius. You know, he just used GED he used GED a lot. He never said the F word, my grandpa. He always used GED. Scream, and my grandpa never talked, he yelled. And that's where I take it from. But just the way he was, but he hated anybody. But you know, I can see my grandpa's point after all these years. I won't mention no names, but I know a few people who's got a college degrees inside, and I don't think they can screw a light bulb in if they tried. It's sad. I knew a boy had a 4.0. You know what the 4.0 grade score is in college. My uncle had him in class. Didn't know how to fix a flat tire in a car. There's something wrong. You got a 4.0 and you can't fix your tire, you can't fix a flat on your car, or something bad wrong. I've known two guys like that. The second guy, I didn't know him, but I knew his friend real good. He had a 4.0. His buddy says, I've known him since grade school. He's always carried a 4.0. His mom was in the emergency room. He couldn't get there. He had a flat tire. He had to call another friend to come and get him. Why didn't he fix the flat? Because he didn't know how to. He actually stated that. He didn't know how to fix a flat. I said, you got to be kidding me. You know, he had a 4.0 all through high school, all through college. He's a junior in college with a 4.0 and did not know how to change a flat on his car. I tell you what, my grandpa hit it on, he hit the nail on, what they say that? He hit it. It's not, I don't know, is it our brains are not meant to have education? I don't know. I'm not knocking people. I got an uncle who's got a PhD in math. He seems normal to me. But there have been a few people I've noticed with big college degrees. They seem a little, what's the word I want to use? I don't know. I don't want to say screws loose, but you can tell there's a few brain cells that are quite not tuned or something. But I wouldn't trade what common sense I do have for any college, for all the college degrees in the world. If you ain't got common sense, you ain't, in my opinion, you ain't got nothing. And I agree 100% with my grandpa Redden. If you ain't got common sense, you ain't got shit. I'll go ahead and say it. Probably won't, you ain't got common logic, you ain't got common sense. If you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing. Rest in peace, Grandpa. You was highly intelligent. I just wish I had half his brains, man. I really do. Really do.